my son has said those lines to me. Yeah. I love you, Dad, or I love you, Papa, but I love Mom just a little bit more. And I get it because, you know, she carried him. I was like, yeah, well, I get it. You know, you carried him for a while, you know, for 9 months. I was like, you know, it's not like I didn't carry him most of my life.
He was in there.
He was in there. So it was like, what came first? The sperm or the egg? Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
And it's our 20th episode of... Actually, it's like technically
it's our 80th
episode.
Yeah, we're 20 away from 100.
Dude, we got to do something big for 100.
I know. Yeah, true. We'll start planning something very...
I don't know what we do.
A pool party or something. You guys can't see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something. It'll be very fun.
We'll just be in our... we'll just be shirtless.
It might be this summer. It could be the summer that we end up hitting it. I mean, well, that'd be 20 weeks. So no, probably not.
Yeah, we'll just do 2 weeks.
We'll do 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll just bombard.
But 100, dude, that'd be crazy. 80s, to be honest,
so
like
proud
80.
Of 80. Yeah, we're at the end of season 4. This is the last episode of season 4.
Yeah.
For those of you that have been with us from the beginning, you've been with us for 4 seasons.
4 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, you're like a hotel now, right?
Oh, hey, 4 seasons. I know. I'm always throwing out those damn puns to
right. Wouldn't it be nice?
JJ.
Yeah.
He was
kids.
What was he saying? Something about a helicopter? And I said it's because it has a hella something. And he's like, I see what you did.
Okay.
No, because he was talking about something chopping, and he calls it a helicopter. I don't know, helicopter, and then it was in the moment. It was so funny.
If you were there, guys, it would have been so funny.
It was probably still not funny actually, because it was a stupid pun.
Yeah, Elliot he gets rude with me with jokes. I'll say something that I know is like some stupid things that kids say today, and he's just like, no, I'm like, dude, don't get all like funny with me. Like I was joking and making fun of the thing that you say. Don't make me feel stupid. Like I'm old.
What was you saying? Like you stay woke? Or
I don't even know. It's like, you know, like little gamer terms, because like our boys are in the game.
Yeah.
So Elliot knows all these like gamer things, and it was like the first time it kind of gave me that like teenage kind of attitude.
Dad,
of
you're
like,
so not cool.
Yeah, like you don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, well, I knew enough to make fun of your stupid little phrase, and
all I know is this game is lit.
Yeah, this game is so lit, bro. Come on, bro.
There's times I'll use like certain, I don't know, some of the slang I hear. Oh, that slaps. I like that one. I don't know.
I don't even know this. Blanca listens to TikTok.
Like
so
I like the way slap sounds. Like, oh, that song slaps.
I've never heard that.
But it sounds, I've heard it.
People are saying that now.
Like it's a good song. It slaps.
So we are kind of going full circle, because that does sound like something that people have said in the 20s.
Oh, this is a slapper here.
Oh, we got real slaps over here. I think I can see them saying that about a song or something. That song's a slaps, I tell you.
It does slap.
Right?
It slap. There's slap, and then there's a... I've heard people use the word fire, but it reminds me.
I've heard fire. That doesn't sound as 1920 as slaps, though. Something about slaps, like the S at the end, makes it.
It sounds like a dance too.
Did you hear that song, "Wet Ass Pussy"? That's really the slaps.
That song. Oh God, I will never get over that damn song.
Have we moved past that in our culture? Like, are we to the point now where we're like, okay, like we don't have to be that. You know, like vulgar, but I don't know.
I don't really listen to
angry old man, but there's a moment where you're just like, where are we going from here? Like,
I don't
much
like
more
listen
can
to
we
like
say?
Like I know Cardi B and like what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah,
like they're very like, you know, like a very it's my body kind of.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
I'm rapping about, but guys kind of rap about the same shit.
Well,
though,
no,
if you think about
I've always had issues with that, though.
But
I've never really particularly liked it, whether it's guy or girl. And I see that's the issue that I think is like
comedy. I don't really like super vulgar.
Like the sexual.
There's over the top.
Yeah, I'm like okay. I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, it's kind of private. Like what you do is kind of your business.
I don't know. Some of that stuff I just find kind of stupid. But like, there's some rap. Like I said, I've heard that. I don't like when it's like super over the top. Like
right.
I think we talked about that before.
We have. Yeah.
With your brother.
I think so. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I understand, like there, there are genres that are more sexual, and that I get it, but it's just not for me, I guess.
No.
But as a culture, I'm just kind of hoping.
But man, they got some slappers.
The real slap is over there. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another.
I just want to know about the whole like how we got away from that way we talked.
I don't know, because it sounds like a ton of fun. I just feel like if we were just walking around all day,
if you spoke like that, you're just your everyday life talking about like
everybody just talked
like your pond out there.
Yeah, everyone.
Oh, my koi fish is really swimming real good out there.
It's a real slap out there. You got to go check out the peepas. They're swimming
so is that
around
how the
real
mafia
nicely.
spoke then?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you know how in the mafia, like you watch a mafia movie, like, hey, the guy with the thing, you take care of it. Peaches over there.
See, anytime
he's
you
the
hear
guy
that voice,
that takes peaches or something. It's like it's all the stuff that like says it, but it doesn't say it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the 20s in general.
Yeah,
you just say words that stand for other words. He's a real table knocker. Oh,
so we were looking up some of those.
Yeah, after last week's show, you were pulling up all these old ones, and there was one that was funny. It was great. Now I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
I was loving it. I was like, I could use that. And
there's one where if you're lying,
are
you horsing me or some shit? I don't remember. I said it too.
Oh yeah. It's something about like a horse thief or something. I don't know. It was good.
It was
good. And that was the one that I liked a lot. Whatever it was, that was the one that I liked.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. We've lost some things, I think.
Oh yeah, here we go. Happy Cabbage. That was.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was Pangwangle.
Well, I remember I was talking about. I don't remember what that meant.
I'm looking. Zib. Nick and Poop. That's like, that was one of them. Cop a mouse. Door knocker.
What's door knocker?
Door knocker was a type of beard shave, leaving hair under the chin.
Because it looked like a door knocker, probably.
Real.
It just makes me think of like an old Disney cartoon.
Gickle mug, nose bagger. Not up to dick.
That's a good one.
If something or someone was not up to dick, it was not healthy.
To be in a meeting at work and just have the boss go off on everybody like, none of you in this room are up to dick. I think that would be great.
I'm seeing if I can. I can't find it. I don't want it to be dead silent the whole time.
I know.
Hello.
Well, this is the new world. We Google everything because we don't have memories. So that's the way that we do things.
I can't find it.
Anyway,
I don't want to.
Really
there's like
great.
80 of them. I don't want to
go. We'll cut this part out for you guys.
Like, this is real boring.
Or we probably won't. Then you guys
we won't. This is just how we. This is how we roll usually.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, 80 episodes.
80 episodes.
It's fucking pretty awesome.
Doing this, we've made it to 80 episodes.
We haven't really grown.
Yeah, we have.
Like a huge amount. Like like in my mind picture. But also, we're not like putting it out there the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
we do this as, like we said, therapy. It's like our therapy. And we have some loyal fans that listen and friends, really more.
Which is awesome.
But friends.
Our day ones.
But I appreciate all of you that listen. And we appreciate all of you that listen.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah.
You guys have a good day. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah. That's the last episode of season 4. There's a lot to come. We have lots of.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I want to actually try to get like, more out there, just to see make it get a little bigger, just because it's cool to get it out there. And I mean, some of the stuff we talk about is pretty nonsense, but some of it I think we got some good stuff where I feel like it could help someone eventually.
Yeah, for sure. We try to kind of mix it up. No, we don't want it to be super serious. We don't want it to be like not serious at all. But sometimes there's things to talk about. Sometimes there's not.
It's our personality, really.
So, yeah, we talk about serious stuff. We talk about jokes. This week, there's actually, I think, some good stuff to talk about. So, I think, we have a little bit of fun. We get down to business.
Yeah. Here and there. Well, yeah, because you were doing some stuff.
We have been. Yeah. So that was one of the things I was going to talk about, and have some work stuff that went really well I was going to talk about. So everybody loves to hear about work. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I got a new car.
Yeah, Jessica got a new car. For work.
Well, it's not for work, but it's like
because of work in a way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why I started playing with that.
Your eldest got a job.
Yeah, my oldest,
So-
she's working, so she has the car, and so like I work at home Monday through Thursday, so Fridays I go in, which isn't a big issue. It just makes it really tough when first world problems, don't have enough cars,
Right. This is America. We need at least 4 in the driveway at all
I
times.
swear, but like there's times where it's like, okay, now I got to take my wife to work, but I need to be work early on Fridays. So now that's where it was becoming like, okay, like how's this going to work? So we had that week where Blanca took Alicia to work for us. And so now, I got my little Jetta. But thanks, Louie. She found that.
Yeah. She's a remarkable woman when it comes to finding vehicles or really anything with a motor.
Talked him down about 1,000. So it's like,
yeah, she's
made it much easier.
She's a master at work.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that helped because I went into work. I went to Spokane on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. And then Friday when it had to go into work. So got to use it and it fucking rides nice.
Nice.
But it's nice to get back. Yeah.
Red.
Yeah, I feel like a young lad right now.
He's just a young buck out there on the streets.
I feel gangster, I got my fucking tinted ass windows. It feels weird because it's so tinted. That's
cool though. Was it a young guy that sold it?
He was 19. Seemed like a super good kid. Works at Hanford, just got a job out there.
Be a rad tech.
Yeah.
I almost became a rad tech. I got into the program and stuff. I was gonna do it, and then Fukushima happened. I was like,
not as rad as you thought it'd be.
This isn't rad at all. You guys lied. That's false advertising. There's nothing rad about this. Talking about old terms. That was like 90s.
80s.
Yeah, that was the most rad thing ever. Did that come from Radioactive?
I don't know what it fucking came from.
I bet you it did, actually.
Probably.
That's crazy.
You're so rad.
No, you're rad.
No, like seriously, like you're cancerous, bro.
No, you're truly
where that's
rad.
What it came from. Like
came from
rad.
A medical book. You're gonna die.
Rad was actually a term for being a cancerous person.
Right.
Right.
It's not a good thing to be rad.
Yeah. Cancerous people,
But then kids, they take
radiation
it and run with
affects
it.
other people.
You're cool. You watch MTV all the time.
Or is it because you radiate, so you're rad? Damn, I don't know.
Did I ever talk about that show I watched? What was the name of it?
Was it Rad?
No, it was Rad. It was about no, I'm actually going to forget the name. Chernobyl. Did I talk about that?
I think you had. Yeah,
that was a good show. If you want to see some rad stuff, watch Chernobyl. That was.
That would be crazy just to go to.
Ugh. You can't really get.
I mean,
plus the Russians are there right now.
I've been there in Call of Duty.
I pretty well. I saved it once. It was no big deal.
I had a shootout there once.
I'm an American hero. Did you have to shoot Russians? Was it like you're at war with Russia?
No, I don't remember. I know there was a scene in one of the Call of Duties
at Chernobyl.
Yeah, you're in the area.
Crazy.
It was cool. Like you're running through because there's these big almost like apartment looking thing.
Yeah, but so it's a vacant city.
Yeah. So you're in there. It was a cool.
Were you ever near the reactor, or were you just in the city?
I think you were just in that area.
Okay, and that's still cool though.
It was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
No, it's wild.
The campaign really on those games are really.
They're
good.
amazing. I'm gonna have to play that one. I have not played that.
Yeah,
one.
I'll have to look it up.
I played several.
I'm probably
way
off.
I mean. There's one where the White House has been destroyed and you're running through the White House and it's just wild.
Olympus has fallen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's one where you're in space.
Okay.
And you're out there and you're like, wait, what? And then you see a big explosion happen.
Your bullets are just
your bullets don't really work right because it's space. It's like you gotta figure out physics.
Gravity's weird.
Yeah, the guy slowly rolls away. It's great. I loved it.
But how was work? What was your week?
Work is fantastic right now.
Well, you guys have been testing a lot. At least I know JJ's school. Yeah.
So I talked earlier in the year about winter testing, and and education testing students is a big part of what you do, and it's it kind of. Not to get too technical, but this is a big one. The district test that we give, we base our personal goal off of how the kids do on this one. So it's not just for the kids, but for us, it's come on. I know,
seeing how you're doing as a teacher.
Yeah, it's one of those times where you're I know that you know this. I have full confidence that you know what you know, but please make this work. And
Yeah.
my kids like blew it out of the water this year.
Oh shit.
They completely, I'm blown away. I was watching score
Awesome.
after score come in. We're talking like 30, 40 points of growth.
Oh,
my
damn.
average is around like 20 points of growth on this test. It's one test. It's not everything.
But still, it's really...
But it's like, it's an important one. And to feel that come in, and after I was so down in winter, feeling like, oh, it should have been better or whatever, which is always kind of the way it is. Winter tests are always kind of a...
Well, they're still learning, and then, you know,
right.
the stuff they've learned.
It's just like, they don't really understand the test yet. By the end of the year, they get the IP. They're little kids. These are like first graders. So at the beginning of the year, they don't even know how to use a
bunch of little,
little hoodlums. No, luckily I have an amazing class of kids. And they've really knocked it out of the park.
That's awesome.
I was so proud of them.
Congrats, little kids.
I went through like all the data with them. They know the word data now, so they were like, "Oh, data." I'm like,
God.
That's data, man. And we were like looking, because they put you in like, you know, those quadrant plots. Have you ever seen those where you got the 4 squares and each square means something? You got the axis here and the axis here. And so like
you're breaking it
pretty
down.
much all of my kids were in the highest, like for growth, they were high.
Yeah.
And all but 3 were in high performance for all kids in first grade, and high growth. So they made tons of growth, and they did better than most other first graders. It was insane. And my one kid who started out high and didn't quite make it was 1 point away from being in that high.
Oh,
so I'm like, he was fine. It was just whatever the question was.
What was his growth from the time before?
Fine growth.
You know what I mean?
He was 1 point away from his growth goal.
Yeah,
which would have put him into that category. So I was like, it was no big deal. And my other kids that didn't make it, they weren't in the high for like national average, but their personal growth was huge.
Yeah, see, that's I think that's like the big thing.
That matters the most, really.
Yeah, that's what
their growth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that personal growth, like going from you know, and I'm not saying they don't know how to read, but as an example, like you can't read to like you just read 4 fucking chapters with ease.
Well, it always feels good at this time of the year, because you can kind of sit back and look at everything and be like, okay, we did it. Well,
you also seen these kids like physically kind of changing.
Sure.
Because they're growing, but then you can see them like things clicking.
Yeah. You know what I mean? See how their thinking changes. Yeah. And how they really, I think
that's cool.
We do. So we give one test. We do a lot of different tests, because like no test is perfect, right? So you'd give a ton of different types of tests, and you take all that information. So like, even though this one test is big for our purposes, it's just one test amongst many for the kids. But we gave what's called a cold read test at the very beginning of the year. And that test is like, if you remember when you were a kid, you read these little things and then you answer questions from it. You've never read it before. You just have to read it and then answer questions.
Yeah, like who was the star of the show?
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they did it at the beginning of the year, and we gave it to them again, the same test now. And it's just amazing to see. Like, there were kids that couldn't answer one of the questions. And now, everybody scored 12 or better out of 15. And it was a 0 out of 15 for like 5 of the kids. It was like 3 out of 15. It was, there were a couple 15 out of 15.
Well,
so you always have high readers.
Yeah. But to see the growth from that 0 to like 12,
right?
That's crazy.
Well, my mentality is so like, if like in winter, I got so down for about 2 months, just feeling like, for whatever reason, my data wasn't even like necessarily bad in winter.
You just had an expectation for yourself.
I did, and it was like, I go so down, like, oh man, I'm like the worst.
Oh yeah,
and then,
I get it. That's how I get it.
This back, it's like, man, that feels good.
Yeah,
that feels good. That's and it's like, for them, that they're going to be in a position that they can
just take one of these microphones to school.
I know,
and then drop it.
I should. I think I did that gesture, like boom.
Yeah.
And the kids laughed. They thought it was so funny.
Well, see, that's universal. Everyone knows what that.
They were so proud of themselves, because like I talked it up before, and I talked it up during, and then at the end I was like so blown away truly blown away by
that's
them.
Cool.
I was just like, man,
well, congrats, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
That's got to be a good feeling.
Feels really, really good. I'm like riding the high right now.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
We got math coming up, but reading is, first grade really reading is like the biggest. Like they have to read.
Yeah,
Math,
I think
not that
reading's
math isn't
important.
important. Like, I'm not saying that. We care about math too, but
Calculator.
if a kid can't read by the end of first grade, like, it's going to be a little harder for them. So you really want to get them as far as you can in that. And
no, that makes sense.
they're doing it.
Well, it's going to make it so much harder if they don't know how to read.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, by third grade, it switches from being learning to read to reading to learn. So they're not getting as much, the phonics, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're getting more like, okay, here's an article. We need to learn information from this article.
Yeah,
so,
JJ's been doing a lot of that.
Yeah. So by then, it's like if you are
need to
still
comprehend now.
Right. So if you're struggling to read, then it's the content in all the other fields. Reading, you'll still get special instruction, right, in those areas. But it's just everything else is based on the idea that you can already read.
Well,
so,
yeah. I mean, you taking a math test, you better be able to read those instructions and know what those mean and follow
and
those.
The science, they have a lot of like science or social studies readers that they're supposed to use.
What's this crap? I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a scientist. I don't want to know this.
Right. Yeah. Science isn't my thing.
Yeah.
Give
me something else.
One of the funniest things I was ever told by a kid, this girl goes, my brain wasn't meant for this working hard. I laughed inside. I just said, I was like,
that's my wife's.
I just told her, I'm like, you can do amazing things. Like, I didn't accept that answer, but inside I was like laughing. I'm like, that is the funniest comment.
She's like my daughter, the one that's working now. She's like, what? And my wife's this way, or my wife jokes around about this, like just being like staying at home. Like my wife would rather stay at home, and that's not a joke. She's like a legit would rather stay at home, take care of the kids than work.
Right.
And I rather her not.
And you win.
Just because of like I've talked about it, like the mental aspect of being home. Like I'm home all day and I work, and it's hard. It's draining.
Yeah.
But like she said the same thing. The oldest, I just need, I'm not meant to work. I just need to get someone who's rich.
Yes, well, that's the plan for all of us, but rarely does it work out.
Yeah. No, and she knows she actually likes her job. I guess it was like
good.
Teacher Appreciation Week.
It's probably different depending on where you work, but
it was some appreciation. She's like, I'm a teacher. I'm like, you ain't my teacher.
Working.
I go, we appreciate you got a job. Thanks.
Yeah. No, good for her. She's working at a Montessori school, right?
Yes. That's what I picture.
We're mixing cultures.
I just picture Catholic monastery. Isn't that what it is?
Well, yeah, Montessori. I think it is based off of.
It's like
maybe
I
Montessori.
Think so. I think that's like a religious thing, though.
It might be. Yeah, I know that the philosophy of it is a lot about teaching them how to like self-regulate and like solve problems.
But she seems to like it.
That kind of stuff.
She's actually really good with kids. Yeah. Like that's her calling is toward kids. What she think.
Her little like certificate in, right?
Yeah.
Is early education.
But she's good. She's a good kid. She's actually very like always throwing out little quotes.
Yeah. Well, she is a good kid, and I understand.
She's like, I just don't understand how you guys get upset. Like, like road rage. You know?
Yeah.
I just have to sit back and think. Like.
Does she never get mad?
No, I don't get mad. She doesn't get mad like that. Like,
does she really not get mad?
No, not like that.
Maybe I'm sure she'll learn from her.
But she, I mean, obviously, when she was younger, she.
Well, sure, as a kid, but she's figured it out. I haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I'm sure she still gets mad, but certain things like road rage, that doesn't trigger her because she'll think, well, there's a reason this is happening, maybe.
Right. Well, that's good. That's actually, that's the goal.
So she does that stuff.
Feeling this way. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about their life experience.
Like, what are they going through?
Oh, by the way, road rage. I saw the craziest road rage incident driving to work Friday.
Someone got shot.
I couldn't tell. No, it wasn't that crazy. I maybe oversold it.
No,
but
I'm just kidding.
I think they were high school kids. It was really weird because the guy in the car looked old but young. You know those guys that like.
I don't know if he's 20 or if he's 57.
That looked like something like an older guy would wear. He had his hair was like he looked like a character from a movie.
Almost. I was gonna say, was he from Greece?
He almost more like a Joker movie. Somebody that would be in the Joker movie. Think about that. Kind of a 70s ish,
like grungy.
Look. He had sort of an off-brand Mitsubishi kind of looking car.
Okay.
I don't even know what it was. His windows rolled down. He flew up. So like we were just getting to the point where there's 2 lanes and there's a highway. So we were stuck for a good minute,
Okay.
you know. And he flies up the side of us, and it's morning work traffic. So there's quite a few cars backed up. And I'm the second car back. The car in front of me, like I have not seen these two near each other at all.
Yeah.
And I'm behind this guy, and he comes up and he's back too far from where like the end is where you normally stop.
Okay.
And his windows roll down, and all of a sudden his finger pops out, and he's aggressively flipping off, and he's screaming. I mean, like irate screaming. And the guy in front of me is dancing and flipping him the bird like a dance and doing stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
So the guy in front of you was just like,
And I'm like, what happened? Because I didn't see these two cars near each other at all. And this
I need the
level
backstory.
of rage here is insane. Like I was expecting a gun to get pulled or something at one point. I'm like, this is like anger to the point of like,
what the hell?
So when the light turns green, the kid that was doing the initial flip off and yelling, like guns it and cuts the guy off, but then doesn't stop and then like continues on his way. Well, they both end up chasing each other kind of to the high school.
They must have known each other. Like
they had to have beef at high school. They had. I hope they weren't teachers.
Are there?
I don't think they were. I think they were students.
That would be hilarious.
They were teachers. They need to.
There's a couple teachers that when I dropped Cheeky off at school, like I'm like, are you really coming to work looking like that?
Oh, tired,
looking drunk,
a little disheveled and tired,
looking drunk.
Oh
no, but yeah, no, you can tell.
Yeah,
they must have a rough class.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've had those years. I've had years where you walk in, it's like
I couldn't imagine. See, I my patience. I don't have the patience to be a teacher. Like I have patience, but like I don't know. There's certain things that I don't have patience for. But like my job, I handle adults,
right?
And man, they're stuck in their ways,
mm-hmm.
and that's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't imagine like kids that are like that.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing is like,
I mean, oh my God, kids.
You got to think like in a class of 20
but you can teach kids and you can help them learn and grow. Adults, it's really, I feel like it's tough sometimes.
It's hard for adults. I think if you're really good at it, it's kind of the same thing. You learn what makes them tick and you use it. You know, that's kind of the thing with teaching. It's a lot of manipulation. I know that that's not the right word to use because you don't.
Well, no,
negative terms, but at its core, it kind of is. Like if you know a kid loves something, then that's the motivator. And, and you learn what their motivators are and you use it to motivate them.
I got to start teaching my people like,
you know, I found like a lot of it is teaching them to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to do, but like all year long. And I think it would work with adults too. You just would have to do it differently because kids, it's like you're an adult and they're a kid. And so that dynamic makes it a little easier because you're not down talking them. You're just an adult to a kid. So it's really easy to be like, you know, I believe in you. You believe in yourself. Like, I don't ever want to hear you say anything bad about yourself. You know, and I do a lot of talking about like for writing. I noticed when I was early in teaching, like they get kind of upset if they see that you marked their paper or done any kind of correction. So that's like editing is a part of the process. So I really talk about the fact that it's part of the process, that authors have editors and it's just mistakes happen. You're getting your ideas out. You have to change them. So mark is a good thing. It means that we're just working through that process. And it gets to the point where like you can tell that the belief is there. And then it's a little bit easier to deal with some of the other things because they kind of have a sense of safety, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think adults are kind of the same. Nobody wants to do a bad job. And a lot of times what the problem is people start to feel down because you feel like you're not good at something and you don't know really what to do about it. And it's kind of hard to say, I don't know what to do about it. You know, you got to be the best all the time. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't work with a lot of adults and I've had adults I've worked with and usually it was a pretty positive experience, but it's tough.
Well, no, so mine's mostly positive, obviously. Like my teams, they're good, but I mean, there's some that could use some work, but it's like, man, you just tell them and you talk to them and you're like, I need you to really like focus on this. If you need help, like reach out. Like I'm here. You guys can fucking text me, do whatever. I always tell them.
Right.
Same. They get into those. I think with adults, sometimes they have a routine now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We've talked about routine.
It's a behavioral pattern.
They just have this pattern that just, and I found myself just recently falling back into an old pattern of like, because I not exercising as much,
Right.
or like, now that I got the weather's a lot better, I'm finding myself not slacking in work, but like I can see that it's there.
Right.
Like I'm like, my motivation levels kind of dropped because now the sun's out.
It's nice.
And I
There's a lot of other things.
Yeah,
I'd rather
I'm
be
home. So I'm like, okay, let's not drop there. Let's try to motivate yourself to do something different or change that pattern. But like, yeah, with my team, it's like hard to do that. Like, because, I can see that, but obviously that's something like almost they have to see for themselves in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But
no, I get you. Yeah.
But yeah. Adults.
Yeah. Well, I just
I
just bought a classroom management book again because it's like, you got to kind of refresh things and like look at it from different perspectives again. And I felt pretty good about my classroom management because that's a whole other part of teaching. What you're talking about, managing people. Well, you're managing kittens essentially.
Yeah.
So like, I bought a little book because like I needed something that just kind of broke it down again. So I could really kind of figure out weak spots of mine. Like, where am I going wrong? Because I feel like I'm doing a lot of things right.
Yeah.
But like, I have had a really hard time getting talking under control. And I'm just like driving myself nuts. And it's all stuff I've known. I already knew. It's just, you could look at it like a little differently of like, well, what
you see
angle
a different perspective.
of it? Yeah, what angle of it have I not yet obtained? Or like, am I not doing? And so just like, this little tiny look through like instantly, and what I found is like I wasn't really good at following through completely on. I was doing a pretty good job, but I wasn't in it enough anymore. Like I've gotten kind of tired in the year, so I'm
you're
not
a little lax
nailing it the way I need to. On like if you're talking and I say that this is instead of just saying like, okay guys, enough, and then moving on, enough. Yeah, I had to get back to like, no, I give you one warning, and after that, there's a consequence.
One and done.
And the consequence is final. And that's a lot of it. And adults, it's a little harder to consequence.
It is.
But it is. I mean,
I mean, it's kind of the same because I have to like coach. So there's like, there's a level of like discipline. Like, okay, we're going to coach you. I need you to really focus on this, do this, and this. We'll come back in a month.
Right.
And if it's not changed, then I'm going to have to write you up.
So one thing I recommend, if your goal is really to help them improve, one thing that this book talked about, and I mean, really it's management in general, classroom or people, whatever. Yeah. This particular teacher that I heard about this author through, she said her problem was she often was reactive. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I think I was starting to do, was just becoming more reactive. So she would wait for it to happen and then address it. No. And so what I've started to do is a lot of pre-talk again, kind of like it's the beginning of the year. I've gone back to, okay, what does this look like? What are we doing? Is this appropriate? Is that appropriate? Modeling it again. And it's different for an adult.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying though. It's kind of the same though, because you can
bring it up more frequently.
Inventory purposes,
do little check-ins like, hey, how's it? We talked about this last week, and like, how's it going? Yeah. Is there anything I can help you with? Like,
see, and that's where I'm noticing my struggle is getting back to that.
I got you,
because I'll start doing it because it's not in my norm to do certain things,
right?
And so I can find myself falling back into that.
Right.
The pattern. Well, we talk about patterns all day on this show.
It is though. Like that's the thing with behavior. You got to understand, like we are always going to want to fall back into defaults. Anytime anything is going to get hard,
you like reset.
And
sometimes you do it without focus. Knowing it.
We often do.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially if it's an emotional like load.
Like there's times where I don't realize I've done this.
Right.
And then I start realizing I'm doing it. But instead of, there's been times, and I'm not saying I do this now, but like there's times where it's like you shouldn't be doing it, but you're like, nah, fuck it. I'm doing it anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, no, I know. It's hard. I wish I was I like leadership and all that kind of stuff. I used to think for sure I wanted to become a principal. I wanted to be in administration. And I just know one of my issues is I don't know if I have the stamina to do it year round.
Yeah.
I feel, you know, first of all, I have to, if I do something, I have to feel like I'm perfect at it.
Yeah, I get you.
And so I don't have that attitude that can just kind of like accept things and be like, it is what it is. And like, I say it a lot, but internally it's like, I can't do that. So everything for me is important now.
Yeah.
So
I get that. Like, because I think I'm that way where I'm like, this is what it like. I don't like to say that either. It is what it is,
right? Because
there's times where it's like this shouldn't be how it is,
right?
Though. You know what I mean? I know
but there's a lot of times, like in leadership, you have to kind of prioritize things, and I can do it, but everything weighs on me.
Oh,
you know, there's certain personality types where I'm not saying it is what it is. Like I'm not going to do anything about it. It's just like there are people that can accept something for now, knowing that it's not worth wasting energy on. I can recognize that. I still will think about it and stew on it.
Oh, dude.
So
I do that.
I go through these ebbs and flows. We've talked about this before too. Those ebbs where you feel like you're almost like on a high, like everything's great. You're motivated. You're running. And then you hit that lull where I don't think my performance drops, but my mentality, it's more on my end where I can feel I'm lower. And I'm trying to prove myself again to me.
Well, I think mine is too, where it's like that, and I get comfortable though. I think that's the thing. You don't want to be comfortable always because then you go on cruise control and it doesn't really do much for you.
Right.
So like true. I get on like cruise control and then I'm like, oh shit, things are out of hand.
Right.
Well, you know, out of hand for what they should be.
You can see the direction.
I can see like, oh shit, like I better up now. I need to, you know, throttle it a little bit and kind of like, all right, let's go. You know, we've talked about this and we're still slacking. What the fuck's going on? You know, like pick it up.
Right.
And there's times I want to be like a parent to like my staff and yell.
Yeah.
Like not yell, but like,
oh, I know.
Get that stern talk. But then it feels weird because they're like adults and I shouldn't have to talk to an adult.
Well, you shouldn't, but at the same time, people should get their job done. And that's like with my kids. Like
that's what I mean. Like it's like
in my classroom, I don't know. My approach, because I'm a pretty nice, soft guy, but
same.
My approach really is no nonsense. Like it's kind of like if you do what's expected, then you're going to get nothing but praise and you know, you're going to get everything that you need. If you're not on task, I'm going to call you on it.
Well, see, that's pretty much that is like definitely like adults
because you have to. If you don't give guidance, and sometimes you have to be pretty stern with it. If you don't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know, someone has to know how serious the level is. You know, and you got to be careful not to overdo it or underdo it because you can. You know, if you come in yelling every day, then it's white noise and nobody cares.
Like there we go again.
But you know, when I've had a kid walk up to me for the third time when I'm trying to meet with another kid. I don't have time or patience for that. So that's when it's like, go sit down. I already told you once that I'm talking to somebody else. And that tone of voice, I mean, I don't.
You got to throw out the dad voice a little bit.
Well, it just lets them know instantly, like, right. You know, because otherwise they're going to want to start getting into it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you just have to be strategic with when you use those strategies and not let it really be a personal thing. Have it be more of like a strategy and a tool.
Yeah.
But
that's what I got to do. I got to strategize, and I don't know because they be slacking some people, man. But I do that. I will be like, hey, as long as you're doing your job, like for me, like as long as you do your job and we get these things done when they're supposed to be done, or earlier, some of the stuff should be done. I look at things how I would do them. And if I could get this shit done, why can't you?
Right.
You know, that's how I look at it. But you know, I'm always just getting on them about that. Like, hey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was leading. I was going somewhere.
No, I gotcha.
My brain went.
Well, I think the hardest thing with that person management piece, and you're talking about this, I'm thinking like all the connections when whether you're teaching or whether you're managing.
It sounds the same to me, like in a way.
Well, in education, they say the foundation of it is building that relationship. Because if the kids care about you, if they care about how you feel about things, it's going to matter. When you're upset, they're going to care. When you're happy, they're going to care. if you don't have that foundation of purpose and that foundation of like the concept of us, you know, like they have to believe in the mission. They have to believe in, for me, like the classroom. Somehow your classroom is special and unique and a good place to be. And I think that's true for adults too. If you feel like you serve a purpose, and if you feel like there's something there, you know, that if you can walk into a building that anywhere you work that is super successful, their numbers look great, their sales or their, you know, whatever, and you can feel a very negative feeling right away. Yeah. Where people don't seem to like each other. They talk about each other. It's quiet. The boss's door is shut. And, you know, and on the flip side, you can have Michael Scott and the office too loose. And it's too loose. And like, you know, but you can tell also organizations where people look like they enjoy to be there. They're motivated not just because of the interpersonal relationships, but because of the mission that they have. Yeah. See, that's the importance of their work, you know, and to foster that starts to take away a lot of the other work, you know, because if you don't have that, then there's a lot more lazy kind of fuck this kind of attitude of like, I don't want to do this.
That's the thing too, finding that happy medium, that in between, because you don't want it to be, like you said, too serious, but you don't want it to be super lax either, because then shit ain't getting done that needs to be done. But yeah, trying to find that balance is, I think that's the struggle with, I think, most jobs, at least in, like, for me, is trying to find that balance, like, because like I said, I'm pretty good with, like, as long as you can do what you do, I'm okay with if you need to take a day off, if you need to do this, like, I'm fine with that. Like, don't feel weird calling me and talking to me. You know, I have like a good relationship with most of my staff. Yeah. Like, you know, they feel comfortable talking to me and stuff, but there's just those times where it's just like, you know, I'll do this for you, but I need something in return. Like I was telling JJ, bargain. I was trying to explain to him what that meant. Like, you know, like when you make a deal with someone, you honor that deal. And I'm not telling, you know, I told him, Nate, this isn't, I'm not saying go murder someone or something. Like, there's a balance there, but like, if you make a deal like, hey, I bought, because I got him Robux. Yeah. Okay, I got you Robux, but the deal is I need you to clean this dog crap. Right. This is the deal. I need you to hold up your end, because this is gonna, you know, and that's kind of how I expect my team. Is like, all right, like my deal is you need to get this project done by this time, and I'm cool with you taking a day off here and there if you need to, if you need to do this or that. Like, I'm not gonna jump down your throat if you just call me last second. Hey, Jess, I forgot about an appointment, or I need to go do this. But
well, as a manager,
you know what I mean?
If you're an employee that is always there and you work hard and you are always reliable, always counted on, an employer typically is not going to have a problem with you taking a day off because they appreciate it. The flip side is, though, sometimes people think they're really great. Not realizing that they're not.
See, and that's the thing. So, and that kind of falls back on like management too. It's like you're given this perception that you're doing this person's doing a great job, when in reality they're probably not.
Well, see, and that's my most difficult piece for me personally. If I actually wanted to become a manager, is I can do it with kids, adults. I don't think I have that skill set yet of being able to be fully open and honest. I can be. But I'm not, like, I think the type A type people, I care about people's feelings a lot.
That's how I am.
And so
like, being a manager is
it stresses me out to have to go to someone and be like, hey, I don't feel like this is going very well.
You're speaking to the choir right now.
Even though I could be talking positively about like, hey, I want to help you with this. I feel like I could get there at some point, but right now I just don't think I have.
That's pretty much my struggle.
Because the thing is, then it's avoidance. So our behavior then turns into an avoidance behavior. We find other things to do instead of approaching it.
I forgot all about it.
Right.
But really, like, I've not forgotten.
I need to go talk to them. But first I have this email I need to type. And really the email's not as important, but I just need to get that done. Our brain tricks us away from the thing that we want to avoid.
It's fear.
It is. It's a fear motivated behavior. And so
that's exactly
the tricky part.
Well, that's what I deal with. Right. Because I'm not a very, like, I don't like conflict.
Right.
I don't like.
But you think about the best leaders, you think about the management, like, you know, the analogy, we've both been listening to a lot of this mafia stuff.
Oh yeah.
But the mafia does have some leadership strategies that you can kind of learn.
No,
and
they really do.
if you think about the type of like, for this example, like a mob boss that you would want,
it's an organization.
It is a smart thinker who can look at two sides of a situation and help you come to the middle point.
Yeah.
Right. And
it just happens to be whacking someone.
Maybe you got to kill a guy, but we probably don't do that in our fields.
No.
But he didn't get his homework turned in last week. I think we need to take care of him. But
break his legs.
Yeah. Don't hurt him. Just scare him a little bit. But it's like, I think the problem is you get a lot of people that, for whatever reason, get into a management position and they don't have that skill set of not just being a bully. I think a lot of times we think of a good boss as like the guy who doesn't take any crap and just tells you like it is. Nah. The best boss is comfortable coming to you, being honest and saying, this isn't going well. Let's talk about what we need to do to fix it.
Yeah.
And being a partner to that person to get better.
See,
where that person feels like you have my back. You're not saying, Sammy the Bull talks about bosses or captains that would do that for him.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. There was a guy he talks about that said, "You're stupid. Now I know you're stupid." And he's like, "Well, what does that mean?" And he goes, "No, you're smart, but you're not looking at this right."
Yeah.
And he told him,
was that at Toto or?
Might have been. It was early on. And so he explains like, you're going to be around me for a while and I'm going to teach you how to see this.
Like how to actually see different points.
Because he was ready to go beat this guy up over some little beef, if you will. And the guy told him like, okay, tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to hear the other guy's side and they're going to be together. And it turned out to be nothing.
It was like a miscommunication, wasn't it?
And he said, you were ready to go beat this guy up and they're friends now. And we didn't have to do anything. And
that's Cosa Nostra.
That's Cosa Nostra, my friends.
Seriously, though.
I mean, seriously, listen to his podcast. Every time I bring this up, I'm like, I don't want Sammy the Bull coming after me. So just listen to his podcast. It's great.
No, it is actually good. I'm still going through episodes.
But I've finished it to this point. But there's some stuff to learn. I think, the leadership aspect of that, anything that has to do with the leadership, I wish I had. I'm proud of myself for being honest and being like, I don't think I'm ready for that. But like, I'm so intrigued by the idea of like leadership roles and those positions. To do it day in and day out every day, I don't know that I could hold up the level of professional, like, I don't know, not professional because I would be professional, but my mentality, I don't think is consistent enough.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. No, I feel that way now.
But I love that stuff. I mean, you listen to them having these discussions where you're, moderating these conflicts and stuff, and it's like, it's so intriguing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, sometimes I have to do that, like, approach someone, but like that's where I got to work on who I am and how I approach, and actually feel comfortable going out of my comfort zone and kind of like, hey, this is an issue, and actually talking through it in that sense. Yeah, like Nick. He was like, before I became friends with him, he was like my supervisor at one time. And I always really appreciated him for that because he was that way. Nick's a very good, like, he's perfect for a leadership role. Like he's very good. Like, we're friends. Nick and I are, we're good friends, and he will come to me, hey, like, this is kind of an issue. You need, nip it in the butt, maybe work on doing this, and this.
But you appreciate your relationship with him. And he's got your back.
I always told him, I was like, I appreciate that. And that's kind of something I told my now supervisor is like, if I'm effing up, tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can fix it.
See, I think sometimes though the manager doesn't always know. That's kind of the problem is. Well,
or they're just too. Jump the gun. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. You got to take your time to think through things. Like I appreciate, especially like, you think the modern world, how quick people are to jump on something and get their voice out there about it. Anybody makes any little mistake and there's automatically kind of this jump, social media jump or whatever on, the outrage. And you look at the people who are smartest don't react first.
Yeah, no,
they don't throw their voice into the choir. And I've been guilty of doing that.
Yeah.
But they sit back and they take it all in and they let the chips fall. And then if they need to, they put their 2 cents in. And it's like, you think of like mob mentality. You're going to instinctively go with what most people think because you don't want to be the odd guy out.
Yeah.
But sometimes the mob can be wrong.
Yeah, yep. That's true.
And so that group thing can be a real
because it's problem. So like, like a peer pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You got everyone's like, yes, but you're really like, not really.
Right. Like, let's hear this out.
Yeah, let's be the devil advocate and like listen to this side or do that.
And that's where like I wish as a culture we were more trying as a whole and everything in life, trying to get towards some center with people, trying to hear each other out, trying to understand each other, trying to come to terms that we can live with. Yeah. It just would be nice if we weren't at each other all the time.
No, seriously.
I just so negative, and it's one side telling the other side how bad they are. It's like, look in the mirror, like across everything. It's just
not everyone's going to be perfect. Not everyone's going to do everything the same. Not every, we're all different in a sense. Yeah, we don't have to be like assholes all the time. Though.
That's the thing is like we've gotten to a place where everyone needs to be exactly like me. They have to think the way I think, believe the way I believe, vote the way I vote. Like it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, we actually be okay with people being different.
We need different viewpoints.
You do.
We need extremes and people in the middle. We need the middle to start winning sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's just like
it's because they don't got those personalities.
You got to balance it out. I don't know. It's driven by us as individual people and what we choose to put our energy into. And right now, unfortunately, we're choosing to put our energy into extremes for the entertainment value. That's like there's entertainment options everywhere, folks. Like let's start choosing some that make
like sense. Just Weirdly Blended.
Yeah, and listen to our podcast if you need some entertainment. It's the best.
Yeah, we talk about lawn maintenance.
We do. We try to find things on Google for a few minutes.
Yeah, Google.
Hey, if you ever want to hear what it sounds like having a conversation with you when you're on your phone, listen to the beginning of this podcast.
I know, seriously.
That's okay.
And it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did want to roll into the other issue that we've had this week.
Yeah. No, I was just going to actually bring that up.
Yeah. So my wife, Blanca, she's your ex-wife.
Yeah.
So she is one of those lucky girls that grew up with a non-supportive, non-involved father.
Yeah.
And I've watched, and I know that you have seen in your past how it's affected her.
Oh, yeah.
And, just anyone that doesn't have a parent actively involved in their life, the effect that it has on that person.
Guilty.
And her dad died last week. She didn't find out about it till 4 days later because her stepmom is just
not a
toxic
nice person. Yeah, she's not a nice
and I've always known that when this day came, it was going to be kind of a challenging thing for her just because it's like
there's that strained relationship.
Yeah, she doesn't have a relationship with him. And I've always looked at it as, and I've heard this from other people that have gone through it, that once that person's gone, the opportunity is gone. There's no chance at it ever improving or getting better.
Because there was always, I for her, she always wanted.
Yeah, right.
And she tried, like
she put the effort out, and he never reciprocated, which is terrible.
Yes,
as a parent, it is on you.
I mean, as a parent now, I try to get my kids to talk to me, do these things,
no matter
to me.
The age.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it's like
it shouldn't be the other way around.
And I do recognize there are different cultures, there are family cultures where really kids do a lot for their parents and all that. But that aside, a parent has to be a parent first.
Yeah,
for that to be a real thing.
For sure.
And in her case, it's just a situation where he didn't show up. He wasn't there. And he actively, things were said that were hurtful,
He
tolerated that, not necessarily from his mouth, but he tolerated it. And it's just it's sad to see that even as an adult,
oh, dude, it's
the impact that it has. So,
because you can be as tough as nails, but I mean,
and she is,
and it's still like, I mean, it still hits you,
yeah.
I grew up with no dad, but I'm sure that still affects me. You know what I mean? In some sense or another. But to grow up with your dad, like, and trying your stuff with your dad and knowing your dad's a block away,
right?
Which was literally
the case.
Like,
she could ride her bike to his house.
Yeah, she could go through the house across the street and to the backyard.
Yeah,
you know, like it was like that close. And so to know that he's there, and like, I think that, I don't know, that's heartbreaking, really.
It is. And I just, you think, I don't know how you fix that problem, but for all those dads out there that aren't cutting it, like, I don't mean to be a dick to you, but
you got to step up.
Your job, man. Like, I mean,
you didn't want kids. If you didn't want kids, don't either have sex or
there's a way to fix
cut your nuts.
That's right. Cut your nuts or don't do it.
Exactly.
It's not about you.
No, it's
you make a mistake, whatever.
But I mean, you not being in that kid's life or that kid not having a parent like that, that's a lifelong effect. You know, and
that's affecting them. It's a very selfish decision to make.
Yeah.
And I'm a selfish guy. I understand, like, we're all selfish. And
well, I think too, the hard part too is because at one point she had that relationship with him.
Yeah, I don't know what age she was when her parents split, but she wasn't like super. She was pretty young.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like he used like to see pictures and stuff of like, oh, my dad held me, my dad did this,
and then all of a sudden he's just gone. It is a heartbreaking thing, and I just look back at the guys, like, guys, we got to do better. Like, there's just too many kids out there that don't have a dad, and it's if you're just afraid that you don't know how, or if you, I don't know what I don't personally understand it. I can't imagine doing that to my kid. No. I really can't. But
I think as a dad, like, you're gonna feel a certain type of way where you don't know what you're doing,
right?
Especially a new parent, you're not gonna know. And I hate to say this, but it comes to you like as soon as your kid's born, like all of a sudden these instincts. And I can't explain that feeling, but you just, I'm still figuring stuff out. Right. Like,
you can't be afraid of making a mistake.
Oh, no.
The biggest mistake.
You're going to make mistakes. You know that.
Walking away. That's the biggest mistake.
That is.
Because that is on you. There's nobody else to blame for that.
Well, I think as a dad, too, I think there's a guilty part of you if you're not involved with your kid, but then you're still so stubborn. And this could go mom or dad, but like you're so stubborn and set in your ways that you're like, well, it's too late now. But in hindsight,
that's the fear. That's the fear of being rejected.
Like in hindsight, it's not too late. Like, like my dad, like I just, I was almost 30 years old when I met him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so it's not too late.
It's never, no. A kid wants that person in their life. They might be mad at first.
No, they're going to be.
I mean, throw it at you and hurt you, but it's because they're hurt.
But they need to see that you're trying, that you're actually putting out that effort to and
maybe
mend this relationship.
Anger towards these dads isn't the right approach. Maybe it is more the leadership of helping them better themselves. Truly, that's a very good point. It's never too late. And if you have it in your head that you want to reach out and you're scared, be honest with yourself. It's fear.
It is fear,
bro.
It's fear.
You're afraid that you're going to get rejected and it's going to hurt. That kid feels rejected. That kid's been rejected.
So you take that fear that you have and project it on what the kid's feeling at that moment. Right. Like that kid's feeling rejected. That kid doesn't
have an identity because they feel they weren't worthy of you.
Yeah. I mean, that kid's having the feelings you're having, like it's too late. Your kid's having that exact feeling almost, but just it's it's affecting both
and it's
people negatively.
It's going to affect their behavior when they're older. It's going to affect their decisions. It's going to affect the way that they interact with relationships, everything. I mean, it's human being that you brought in this world.
I know. It's worth a shot. It's worth trying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Your kid's like 50, but every kid, I've not met one adult ever or heard of anyone that truly inside was like, screw my parent. I don't want anything to do with them, and meant it and never. I can understand if like your parent physically abused you or something, but just an absent
I was going to say, wasn't the Mendez brothers pretty?
Well, they were different, but I mean, there's cases. But truly what I'm saying is that like everybody wants their parent.
They do.
In the back of every kid who didn't grow up with their parents' mind is someday maybe. And they probably don't want to admit it.
Yeah,
They
no,
probably tell themselves, screw him, whatever. But what kid does not ultimately hope and pray that someday...
No, you're right, because blended family.
Yeah.
I know my stepkids, there's been times I've heard them, they would have liked mom and dad to stay together.
Right.
And obviously that's not the case, but like Tom said, that is a thing kids want. I know Elena has probably had those thoughts,
Right.
Because she's asked me some random questions before, and I'm like, what, like, how do you answer that? Why did you and my mom split up? Stuff like that.
Right.
So you break it down or whatever. But no, I mean, there's that fear, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't let yourself be controlled by fear. If you want a relationship with your kid,
just have it.
Because it's going to maybe hurt for a week or whatever, however long that kid takes to come around and be like, okay, I really do want you in my life. And then from that point on, you get to build this amazing relationship. You'll have a friend when you're old. I mean,
God willing, yeah.
I know how my relationship is with my parents. It starts off very parent-kid, and it ends up you enjoy spending time with your parents. They're always your parents. You're always their kid, but you can talk to them about adult things. You can do things. Yeah, depending on the people. Depending on the people. But
I'm like, I don't know.
You could probably hang out with your dad.
I could hang out with my dad.
Your dad's a cool guy.
No, I've hung out with him.
He
and
sends
I
up
can see it.
coffee and stuff. He's a very nice.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. My mom's a good person. Don't get me wrong.
No, I gotcha.
That's
just
a different
personality.
Yeah. Right. No, I get what you're saying, but like Fred and Louie, for example,
right?
Like they're not my parents per se, but that's how I view them.
Right,
it's like a parent,
right?
And we've all hung out with them. And I mean,
it's just a different. There's not. I think I can't imagine not having my kid in my life when he's in his 20s, when he's in his 30s.
No, I can't either.
And I look at Elena. There was a moment this last week when Blanca was talking to her about her dad dying. Saying your grandpa died and this and that. And the kids didn't know him. They had never met him. But
nope.
Blanca was kind of talking about it in a way of like trying to build that connection of them, like, think of it this way, kind of personalizing it for them so they could understand and make sure that they're processing it right. And Elena had a response about all of us, like the parent unit together, that was very touching. It was very like, you could tell that she values all of us as parent figures. And
that's good.
When you're always on her about homework and you're like worried about this and worried about that and talking all the time about this and that and these things and wondering if you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong or, whatever. At the end of the day, you wash all that away, whatever mistakes you made or choices you made. You can tell they are happy that you're in their life and that you're engaging them.
Oh, yeah,
that
for
you're
sure.
Talking to them, that you're helping them figure it out, whether you get it right or wrong or whatever. That's what matters.
It is because like with Elena, like we've talked about this. She's not a talker.
No.
Like, so I'll ask her a few questions throughout the day or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day when I'll give her a hug or something. That's for me. That's when I can feel like she's, she's reciprocating that, like, this is my parent kind of thing. And so it's like, oh, okay, I'm not a shitty dad. It kind of, you can feel like such a shitty parent sometimes because your kid's not talking to you or whatever. Right. But then at the end of the day, like you said, you wash all that away and then your kid embraces you or something.
Well, and sometimes good parenting, your kid won't talk to you. That means you did it right,
good that my kids don't even need to talk to
me. Like that, the Lego movie said, how did I ruin your life? I wasn't even there. I love that line. If you haven't watched the Lego movie, the first one, watch it.
It's good.
Oh, that line still. Orlando was my brother-in-law was talking one day about something related to that, and we started laughing so hard because he essentially said that line, not really realizing what he was saying. Just laugh really hard.
That's pretty good.
No, I don't know. Just Mother's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
Father's Day is coming up shortly after that. Maybe by Father's Day, if you don't have that relationship now, maybe you'll have it by then.
Maybe. Or maybe you can start building it that day.
Put yourself out there, man. Like, there's nothing to be really afraid of. There's nothing to lose.
Don't be a pussy.
Don't be a puss, man. Like that's
Come on, bro.
Seriously, bro. That's the weakness.
Grow
That's
some
the
balls.
weak. You want to be a man, be a man. There's nothing more manly than
being a dad.
Than stepping up to the plate.
You do that, I will fucking send you some bronzed ass New Balance.
He will. He will do that.
But no, like
for a limited time only.
Yeah.
Restrictions apply.
All restrictions. No, I don't know. Just be a good parent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a good way to end, really.
I think so too.
Or I could ask this question.
We do have to do a question of the day.
This is a weird one. Me and my wife had this conversation. And this is not to take away from women. No. Please.
Let's lighten the load.
Me and my wife had a funny just interaction with each other. Because I don't know how there was this video I watched, my son, of a kid saying, "I love you, Dad." "Oh, I love you too, but not as much as I love Mom." And he's like, "Thank you for that bit of information."
Yeah.
And this is like caught on like the door cam.
I appreciate that you are so honest.
And it makes me laugh because that's how my son has said those lines to me. "I love you, Dad," or "I love you, Papa, but I love Mom just a little bit more." And I get it because, she carried him. I was like, yeah, well, I get it. You carried him for for 9 months. I was like, it's not like I didn't carry him most of my life.
He was in there.
He was in there. So it was like, what came first? The sperm or the egg?
Yeah.
Huh?
What came first?
Yeah. The sperm. Technically the sperm. The chicken or the egg?
Yes.
That theory?
Yeah.
No, so we were just joking about that. And obviously, which one holds more importance, the sperm or the egg? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we were joking about. And but I know, obviously, the woman carrying a baby in the egg. That's obviously
very important.
That's the most important.
But truly, it was both just a joke to make the child. But it does lend itself to some healthy discussion for relationships. Because
we joked
the
about
true reality is, in the end, two good parents, half and half.
Exactly.
Now, women obviously have the edge that carrying the child and developing it for 9 months. You kind of got you got a human inside you, but
which is so creepy.
As far as a healthy relationship, I would argue that both parts were equally important to making.
If you can help make a baby, you need to help fucking raise that baby.
Yeah, it's not a one night stand, folks. If you get her knocked out, do your part.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. Hey. My dad found out about me 30 years later, and he jumped right in on it.
He sends us coffee. He messages on every single video.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So when I say it's never too late, it's really not too late. Like, I was 30 fucking years old.
Yeah.
And then I find out who my dad is.
And in your case, your dad didn't know that he was your dad, right?
I'm positive that's how it was.
So it is nice that he came
I think my mom tried to say he did know, but just
take some of the
knowing who my dad now.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Right.
Because my dad, he's a good guy. Like, that's probably where, I probably get a little bit from. Because one of my sisters on his side, he raised from the time she was like a 2-year-old. So it's not even his actual daughter.
Right. But he treats her like his daughter.
Yeah. Like, he raised her. He actually like had custody over her.
Yeah. Wow.
So to think like, if he knew, then not do nothing, like,
well, and the fact that the second,
and if he knew, and I mean, there could have been circumstances.
But logically, you think then the second that he knows that you're there, he's in your life. I mean, like as an adult, the second he knows, he's like, "Hey, I'm your dad." Like,
we made sure it was legit. Obviously, we had to do like the whole DNA thing, but like to have that, like to see that, and then kind of my mom's side, I'm just like. My mom was probably saying the way she was saying it just so it'd feel better. Like she's letting me know what's going on, but she's also kind of like
changing history a little bit.
She's changing it to make herself not feel as guilty, for not saying something.
Understandable, I guess. But
so like for years, I didn't, like I said, I was never mad. But that's another conversation. Like
is it nice to know?
It is
your dad
because I never knew my dad before. Not the guy I thought was my dad.
Right.
Like I just thought he was a guy that. After I turned a certain age, was like, nah, fuck this kid. Kind of, because I remember the last time there was a stereo left on my door, and that was the last interaction I ever had with him. I was like 6 or something like that.
Right. That affects you.
So I was just like, well, who's my dad?
Right.
Who's my daddy? That's the name of the podcast.
Who's my daddy? Have you already named one? Who's my daddy?
I feel like we have.
I feel like maybe we
Yeah.
or not my daddy.
Not my
your
daddy.
We
Now
could say
who's
your
my
daddy?
Anyway, you guys have a good week.
All right. Yeah, you guys take care.
Right.
We'll see you in season 5.
Boom, boom. Ooh. New intro coming.
Pending.
Pending.